Alrighty, folks, if you've been following this entire series of me building in public, you'd know that I have actually just completed Introduction to Agent Skills, Building with Claude API, MCP, and then Claude Code in Action. And as you can see, it's complete. So if I moved over here, you will notice that I have right here, Building with Claude API, done. Introduction to Agent Skills, done. Introduction to Model Context Protocol, done. Claude Code in Action, done. So theoretically speaking, I'm ready for the exam, right? Wrong. And I'm going to go out there and tell you a few things that you should go up there and absolutely avoid. For starters, the material covered in the lessons are not directly correlated to what you're going to be facing on the exam. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually try to avoid that. This is what's going to be on the exam, which is the Claude Certified Architect. And in the Foundation Certificate Exam Guide, which I have, everything is basically in this little Google Doc that I've linked, and in the entire Google Doc, if you guys want access to it, it's pretty simple. If you're not already in my program already, all you got to do is just chomp down here, and then you go to the WAP community, and then you pop it open, and the resources that I've been referencing, including to be able to talk to either somebody, myself or somebody from my team, right here where it says the WAP community. But I've actually moved everything over to, give me a second here, I'm trying to find it. It's all here, and I'm going to go over. This entire exam's got about 40 pages to it, and there's a few things that you basically need to know. There's a few sections, and what I would recommend for you to do, which is actually what I did, was I actually broke up this entire exam guide, and I'm going to show you guys how I did it. The next thing that I did after passing the exam was like, okay, so how do I get ready for the exam, right? I went over here, and there's two vibe-coded study apps, one that was actually here that I popped open, and then a second one here that I have. And this is all within this little Google Doc that I came up with for everybody. Just basically all the links that I grabbed and everything. You have it all right here. I noticed I was coming in, and I actually tried to take the first stab at the first question. And I was actually going through it. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, some of it made sense to me, some of it did not. Honestly, and like understandably, I'm like, yo, shit. I thought like I'm a total rock star because I just went through all the materials. I went through the videos like more than a few times. And I'm a little bit disappointed that it's not directly correlated with the exam. It's actually not. And by the time that you get to this point, you would also notice this. But big shout out to this person here. I think his name is actually Steven or Stefan. I'm going to take a look at this. Okay, this is the gentleman that actually put the entire thing together. Real rock star. Thank you so much for actually doing that. We'll be making a donation over there. But he actually put together this whole app, and then he also had this whole Reddit blog, which my team and I have also been relying on. If you go to his Reddit post, he passed, and then he posted up some additional resources. His cookbook is actually pretty good. What I found to be the most helpful was actually this, which is he created his own playbook and mock exam afterwards, which is actually this guy here. And this has really been able to put a lot of stuff into context. So I'm going to tell you from here some things that you might want to go ahead and actually consider actually studying this exam guide, and hopefully this is going to save you some time. I'm going through this all in real time with y'all too, and at the end of this entire journey, when I show that I've passed, I'm basically going to make one gigantic video afterwards of what I would do step by step if I was to go ahead and do this whole thing all over again. But we started off in my journey of like, first things first was like, we had to go through it in a very specific order. I went through the skills agent, and then I thought to myself, like, This has nothing, like, I passed it, yeah, but I wasn't feeling confident about the exam. And a lot of people have actually reached out to me on LinkedIn and they're like, yo, I felt the exact same way you did. And I've been getting a lot of views building it out. And it's been helpful retracing my steps because I have very limited time. And I usually do this all on the weekends. If I didn't have these videos up, I wouldn't have been able to go out there and actually retrace my steps. So once you actually get all this stuff done, here's what I'm going to say. Do not just blindly register for the exam thinking you're ready for the exam. You're not. I'm not. Especially for, and this is actually for a lot of the people that are non-technical and like, don't do it. Don't blow the $99 just yet. Make sure that you can actually pass the exams. I would recommend for people to go ahead and start with this guy here first, which is on in my doc. It's actually the second app right here. Cloud Architect CCA-F. Okay, this second one here instead of the mock exam, and I'll go ahead and actually tell you why. Because this one actually breaks up the domain into all of the different domains that you basically have to go through. Domain 1 is the agentic systems, and it has this. And you can actually choose, if you go over here, the practice questions, you can choose to just do domain 1 first, domain 2, domain 3, domain 4, and then domain 5. If you go ahead, which is what I did, and I don't think that's a smart thing to do, if you go ahead and you try to tackle all 60 questions at one time, your brain hasn't like been wired to take these exams. And if these, like if you're coming from a non-technical background, you're gonna feel very discouraged very quickly. So you don't want to go ahead and do that. If you know that within each and every one of these, okay, there's 5 domains, you can break it down, right? It's just like studying anything. If you were to go to like law school or even like med school, there's like, the way that we organize information just helps us memorize information better. You can't just tackle all of it at once. It's just not possible. So you want to go ahead first and just go through domain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See which one's your weaker domain and go after it. But in the following video here, I'm going to go and break down for you. Give me a second. I think it's actually this guy. Next thing I'm going to go ahead and show you is I took this entire document and I basically reorganized it to help myself just better understand the information just a little bit better. Okay, so stay tuned. All right, so I moved everything over to Notion just to go ahead and better organize this information for myself, and I'm about to move everything over to a Google Doc. I know a little bit more time consuming, but I'm old school. What are you gonna do about it? So I wish when we started this, somebody would have actually said to take a look at this exam guide before we actually went over all the curriculum. But this is actually what people should really be studying. And as you can see here, there's an intro, there is a target candidate description, there is exam content, content online, exam scenarios, and the exam scenarios are coming directly from, actually, I'll talk about scenario 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go back over here. And there's 6 exam scenarios. I'm going to pop this thing open, and you're going to be able to go ahead and actually see. These are the exam scenarios right here, which I grabbed all of, okay? And you have exam scenarios. You have the domain. And in each domain, you have something called the task statement. You have domain 2. Okay. So these are all the domains in the task statements up here, which I encourage everybody to go ahead and read. And then from there, if you're not dizzy and ready to go out there and murder me just yet, After the domain and the task statements, you got sample questions. And they're sample questions for the scenario. What I did basically was, I'll show you in a second. You have all these different questions. These are the questions that you should be studying for, or the sample questions, and they already actually have them right here. I can't believe I didn't see this thing until the very end. And then you have exam preparation recommendations, and then you have some, I would say some of like the appendix is basically the vocab, and then you have some of the exercises. What I did here was, and it helped me actually process this, and it made it a little bit more manageable for me and a lot less overwhelming, is at the very top here, I basically now have this CCA-F exam guide. And I just moved everything here into like target description. You have the exam content outline, the 6 exam scenarios right here. You have the domain 1, which is 27% right here. And then just like, I made it into a format for myself. It helped out tremendously where I can memorize it a little better. Domain 2, domain 3, domain 4, and then domain 5. And then now I have sample questions. Each and every one of the scenarios are going to have about 3 questions each. And as you can see, questions 3, 2, and 1. Okay, this is scenario 2, this is scenario 3, this is scenario 4, and then you also have your preparation exercise 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the problem where it gets a little bit tricky. Okay. I'm just going to go back here to the domain scenarios. There are 6 scenarios. 1, 2, 3, 4. In fact, if you actually go to the direct link, it will show you. You've got 6 scenarios right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the exam guide, it only lists out 4 scenarios. So if I go back over here and I go to, if you actually study it, these are the sample questions. So this is sample questions for scenario 1, customer support resolution agent. You have a question 1, you have question 2, you have question 3, and then you have scenario code generation with Claude Code. If I went over here, same thing. Scenario 1, customer support resolution agent. Scenario 2, code generation with Claude Code. If you go ahead and you go back, scenario 3, multi-agent research system. Multi-agent research system. If you go ahead and go to number 4, Claude Code for continuous integration. Developer productivity with Claude, and then you don't have structured data extraction. You are missing those 2 scenarios in there. Trust me, I had my team already review it just in case I wasn't like freaking hallucinating. The preparation, there's only, you see here it says multi-tool agent with escalation logic. So in the following lesson, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to ask it a few questions. Number 1 is, I want you to help me prepare for the CCA-F. I've just completed all 4 of the learning modules and I've realized some things. They have nothing to do with the actual exam. I voice prompted all of this. I've taken part and reorganized the exam study guide, and what I've realized for starters is that there are 5 domains. Across each domain, there are the following. There's something called a task statement, okay, that I have no knowledge of. There's like multiple task statements, and I took apart all of this and everything that we basically just need to know here. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to prompt it into my Claude. Now I want you to know something. I've popped in 80, some close to 100 screenshots in here, so it's already telling me at this point right now, I need another screenshot. I need another project. I can have another project, but I need another chat within the project. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to hit this. Before I do, I just checked everything I needed to, so I'm going to hit plus. Reading the PDF exam guide. I'm going to let it prompt. Now, this is actually why you need to have your attachments. This is why it's so important for you to go ahead and just have your PDFs and everything that you need attached here. I've been getting a lot of LinkedIn messages too from people where they're just like, oh yeah, like that's common sense. If it's common sense for you, I'm going to tell you there's a lot more people. There's probably by a factor of a lot of people where it's not common sense for. So yeah, you know, if you got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. So we basically have all this information is being loaded up right now. Only 4 of the scenarios have been published with sample questions. Scenarios 4, and we need to build them. That's 100% correct. No exercises for scenario 4, developer productivity. 1 needs to be built. Right. So you're probably going to be thinking, Rich, was it really that sloppy when they put it together? You'd be amazed. You'd be amazed. I'm going to take a little pause while it prompts up. So while everything else is getting prompted, why don't we go ahead and actually talk about something I think is pretty important right now, right? Which is I've been getting a lot of pings from people where they say like how 2 millennial AI trainers turned Wall Street's layoff panic into a gold mine. And they are printing, you know, people are saying like, you know, these guys are like getting paid $25,000 for AI training. I'm going to go ahead and actually tell y'all that there's a few ways that you guys can actually break into this. I will like, this is actually one right here, right? These AI gurus are charging and they are former like fund managers themselves. Here's something that I want people to be, that I would like people to go out there and be cognizant of is this is where the market is going, which is AI training, because the existing training that exists for AI is so viciously horrible. It is so bad. And I want to go ahead and be very sincere when I say this because like these concepts were not conjured to be trained for non-technical people. It really was not like, this is not like, if you're a software, like a lot of these people that are doing the training, they're members of technical staff or are coming from an engineering background themselves. Their job is not to explain this to people that are like me or like you that are non-technical. And that is actually where there's a huge opportunity because right now we have so many people that want to learn these skills. In fact, they not only want to learn it, we're getting so many calls right now from people that are saying, we want our children to learn this because the school system is preparing the future generation for jobs that are not going to even exist a year from now, little less like when they get done with college or even when they enter college, right? That's the opportunity. What I want to convey are a few things. Why are these guys making this much money? And I've had a lot of comments. I don't know them personally, but I do know a lot of people right now that are in this space. And I get a lot of times from people that say, like, I know how to use AI better than them. Like, why are they making that money? Well, translation, why aren't you making that amount of money? Let's go ahead and actually just take a few steps back because I want everybody to be printing a lot of cash. And there's going to be an insane amount of money that people can print and pocket in the next 5 years. And don't let the bullshit fake news go out there and psych you out. There's never been a higher demand for people that want to go ahead and learn AI at a very proficient level. And we're talking right now, the most sophisticated form is going to be Claude Code 2.0, Cursor, and actually being able to deploy production level code, right? When you're an investment bank or a hedge fund or a law firm, you have tons of money. And you can afford to bring it to spend as much money as you want to help your people upskill. And why do people go and like flip through all these people over and over again? It's because the people that are being brought in, they aren't getting that point across, and people are feeling frustrated. If you're able to bridge that gap, there's no sky's the limit to how much money you can go ahead and make. Sky is the limit to how much money you can go out there and make, especially if you understand how to communicate in their language. And that's what I'm just seeing a lot of people that are doing right now. So for the technical people out there, this is a major opportunity for everybody. So like, let's go out there and let's get it. Okay, vocabulary definitions I have. Okay, now the 8 exam prep recommendations. Recommend 1, build an agentic loop. Okay, all right. So now I have everything. You're suggesting next move. Click the domain cards to start the domain by domain tutoring, or ask me to generate the missing. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and do this first? Generate the missing. Hang on, by clicking on those buttons. All right, I'm gonna do this. You build me the S4 and S6 sample questions, along with build me the exercise 5 for S4. Wow, okay. Now I have these questions. And while we're doing that, another tip that I also want to go out there and hand out is based upon all this information that has been received. We have the 60 questions here. And this is actually, if you go back to the Google Doc, this is actually from the first app. It did say the following. The most difficult questions are question 51, 37, 54, and 50, and 55. So here's what I'm going to go ahead and actually do. And I'm just going to go out there and take, these are the most difficult questions. I'm going to get them in a highlight. Most difficult questions. And let's go out there and take a look at what they are. So I'm going to go back over here. And it says these are the ones that were missed the most. Is number 1 is like 51. Do we have 51? Great. So these are the ones that people are missing the most. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to add it into my little resource guide here. And then I have 3 monitors, by the way. That's why you're not seeing it. Number 37, this is actually the next one. And then we have number 54. I feel like I'm almost hosting a bingo night. And then we also have 50 and 55, 50. And then we have 55. I'm going to go out there and actually study these questions in a little bit. And then now I basically have this. I basically locked this guy down for myself. The most difficult questions right here. Oh. So let's actually take a look at them. 51. Okay, which is 51, 37. So I'll be studying all those questions in a little bit. And then now that I basically, oh my gosh, it's still generating the prompt. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to take a look at the prompt again. I now have the exam guide. Let me go out there and build it out. So we have 20 questions, 20 questions. Okay, so we have customer support. Yo, this is clutch. So we have like an additional sample questions and preparation exercise built to match the official exercise format. I love it. And just to make sure I can use it, can you give me the HTML that you just generated for scenarios 4 and 6, as well as like the exercise? Can you go ahead and give that to me in a Google Doc format so I can just copy and paste it into my existing Google Doc? So we have 3 questions right here. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a little bit more studying. I'm going to let you guys know, but I'm going to go and I'm going to crack each scenario one by one. Stay tuned for the upcoming videos. I think we already went pretty long for the recording. If you hung out for this long, thank you so much.